Everyone, please bow your heads. Today we gather to remember the 2019 Intel Xeon Mac Pro. The life of this machine was taken by one Mac OS Tahoe at the hands of Mr. Tim Cook. Each one of these candles represents a Mac Pro 2019 owner, all of them, including myself. In times like this, it is important that we remember, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. It is not just this Mac Pro who suffered a loss, but AMD, Intel, and everyone doing Pixar shit around the world. This machine is preceded in death by the iPod, the airport time capsule, the 17-inch MacBook Pro, and the universal dock with IR receiver, compatible with Apple TV remote. So I can listen to my music without having to f with my phone on the stupid lightning dock that doesn't have IR receiver.
Can't innovate anymore, my ass.
You may raise your heads. What's up, guys? I'm Austin Lucas. This is my 2019 Intel Xeon Mac Pro. Today we're going to be talking about my experience with the 2019 Mac Pro, as well as performing a CPU upgrade. I've been using this machine daily since I bought it. Date of recording is November 13, 2025, and I wanted to share my experience with it. So I bought this computer, new open box. Before that, I was using my trusty old trash can 2013 Mac Pro, which has seen quite a lot of use. So here's my sales receipts, June 10th, 2022. So the original price, it was the base model, $599.99. The way Micro Center works with open box or returned items is each time it's returned, the sale price is discounted by 10%. So this machine was returned about 5 times before I finally ended up with it for a grand savings of $2,100 off, and 5 previous customers who, for whatever reason, didn't want the machine. And when I got it, it was like still brand new. So I have no idea why it was returned, but it was to my benefit. I'm excited to hear. I know you guys are. Stay tuned because it's Intel Mac tea time. All right, so one of my favorite parts about this computer is the design. It's just beautiful inside and out. And that part never gets old to me. I love the stainless steel. I love how heavy it is and beautifully designed. I still think it's the best designed computer ever. It inspires confidence, man. If you think I'm wrong, what computer is better? Okay, so why did I buy this machine? Going back to the keynote, I had just started my business back in June 2019. I was using an AMD FX 6300 for my main computer, and I would have given anything to get my hands on one of these back then. Professionals and Mac enthusiasts had been holding out for a machine exactly like this, and it seemed like Apple had been listening and they'd been working hard. One of the main selling points about this machine during the introduction was how it would crush 4K and 8K video editing. When could 16K or 12K be a reality, like 2040, 2050? That's why it stuck that this machine would be useful for so long. And even today in late 2025, 4K and 8K is really the most demanding workflow for the target audience of this machine. So on my machine here, let me talk about what's inside it. We have got a Sonnet SATA 3 enclosure with 2 SATA 3 SSDs here, 80 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM at 2990 something megahertz. I can't quite remember at this point in time. We've got a 12-core Xeon W3235 processor at 3.3 gigahertz with an asterisk. We'll get to that later. Down here we've got the AMD Radeon Pro Vega 2 MPX module with HBM2 32 gigabytes of VRAM, which is incredible even in 2025. For 2019, it was the most powerful single chip GPU ever to be released at the time. What's also incredible about this whole machine, there's only the 3 intake fans on the front and 1 exhaust fan on the back here. This is the entire heatsink, there's no fan. Our video card is also completely fanless. This is the built-in Apple I/O card with 2 Thunderbolt 3, 1 headphone jack out, and then 2 USB-A. We've also got 2 Thunderbolt 3 out here on the top, which are all really nice because they integrate completely with the GPU. So if you want to, you can output to your monitor from any of the Thunderbolt 3 ports, including those on the top, and you look at the full bandwidth from the video card. This is the USB expansion right here with some USB-A and extra USB-C. I've got a FireWire 400 and FireWire 800 expansion card. And then down here we've got 3 OWC PCIe SSD expansion cards, plus an internal stock 256 gig SSD from Apple, which even at the time, it was way too little. Right now, it's running Sequoia, which is still getting intermittent security updates. It's nice and stable, runs perfectly fine. I installed what I thought to be a stable version of macOS Tahoe. I think it was a couple months after release, maybe 1.5. And it was so unstable with so many glitches. I used it for a couple hours. You would have thought it was a beta. And little did I know that simply installing macOS Tahoe, for whatever reason, completely bricked my stable daily install of macOS. It was a nightmare. So everyone is hoping that macOS Tahoe ends up being stable, a solid release by the time that this thing's actual end of life comes in late 2027, early 2028. This machine was designed to be serviceable, completely modular, so easy my mother could do it with a little bit of help. But what is a problem is the lack of replacement parts available for this machine from Apple, from third parties. I recommend watching the Apple Store repair nightmare video, The Death of the Mac Pro by Definitive Mac Upgrade Guide. I know he's since changed his channel name, but that's what I remember. So video is right here. Big shout out to him for making that guide. It's helped me out a lot. You would think that Apple, with launching their self-service program, would want to sell parts for this machine. I don't know. This is an aftermarket Sonnet Fusion Flex J3i. It's actually just a hunk of metal. SSD is not included. $229.99. And there's no substitute, not even from Apple. The ecosystem around this computer is so expensive for no good reason. This should be illegal. I do want to touch on how Apple actually supported the MPX module. MPX is Mac Pro expansion. These are actually really cool because they take full power from the PCIe card. As you can see, there's no wires, no nothing. Really, really nice power supply too on this machine. We put the wattage right here. I don't quite remember from memory. We're just gonna take out the PCIe cards. These OWC PCIe SSD expansion cards are also, I don't know if they're overpriced, because these are really fast, but they're certainly not cheap. We'll put the price on screen for the going rate right now. I did have to pay full price for these things. There's basically no used market. Finally, the Radeon MPX module. This thing is awesome. It's a really great video card. Look how big this heatsink is, seriously. It's all heatsink, no fans. This thing is sweet, though quite pricey, even secondhand, which is where I got that one. This machine originally came with the Radeon Pro RX 580. Damn. We've got the Intel C621. This little guy is basically the system memory controller, PCIe lane controller, some I/O. Again, no computer scientist. I just thought that was interesting that it would be just naked with this die fully exposed. Like, guys, don't look. One of the only downsides of working on this machine is you need a ridiculously long T15 Torx screwdriver, and I believe this one isn't even long enough, and it's not long enough.
Oh my God, we're like an inch away.
But thankfully, I do have a screwdriver set that I used to service this thing in the past. We've got this screwdriver with a little extender and then a T15 head, which is finally, thankfully, long enough. This is kind of ridiculous, don't you guys think? So I'm gonna do back to back to back to make sure that the tension is even, okay? Okay, here we go. All right, rate my thermal paste job. What do you guys think?
Generally about as good as it's gonna get.
do we take this off? That is tough. Okay guys, so here we go. Here's the Intel website showing the specifications for the Intel Xeon 3235 workstation processor. So the base frequency is 3.3 gigahertz and the boost clock should be 4.4. The CPU that was installed was a engineering sample quality control sample, which would only boost up to, on my machine, 3.9 gigahertz. It's supposed to go up to 4.4 on the Max Turbo and 4.5 with Intel Turbo Boost Technology 3.0. So the CPU that I bought here was $104. And back on Intel's website, this is still ridiculous. Recommended customer price, $1,319. Here's CPU-Z running on Windows 10. As you can see, it says ES engineering sample, which under a workload only achieved almost 4 gigahertz, not quite all the way to 4.
How'd you wind up with an engineering sample again?
Oh, because I cheaped out and bought it from China off eBay. I didn't upgrade the core count because the lower base frequency of the higher core count CPUs would negatively hurt my workflow. 80% of what I do is just using Chrome, so that turbo boost frequency is super important for me using single or dual core workflows, which is what I'm trying to improve. So here we go. Old. Let me discharge myself. Yep, should go in just like this. We've been doing this for 3 hours. Okay, let's get these screws back in. Okay, it's totally wrist tight. Leave your comments now. Did I break the machine? Wait, don't. So I bought this machine obviously in June 2021. At that point, there was no major defects with the Core series, the 13th and 14th generation. And the downfall of Intel seemed to be maybe something that would happen, but in late 2025, it is definitely a reality, and it's really sad to see. I think Apple transitioning from Intel to TSMC manufactured Apple Silicon really just triggered a lot of uncertainty within Intel, firing CEOs stepping down, leadership in question, and a direction being unclear. I still use a PowerPC Mac daily, be it just to restore iPods on iTunes, but I've taken it upon myself to try and use an Intel Mac as long as I possibly can. So of course I've got this machine, and then at home I've got the 2019 16-inch Core i9, which is supported on Tahoe. I believe this machine and that MacBook Pro i9 are the only two machines that are gonna be supported on Tahoe that have Intel CPUs. The people who bought the 2020 MacBook Air, like the early 2021, just before, a couple months before Apple Silicon came out, they're getting completely dropped. Sequoia is the last version for those people. It's so sad. On eBay right now, you can scroll through and look at the 2020 MacBook Air. Those machines were selling up to like $2,000 brand new, and now they're worth like 200 bucks, dude. It's up. I actually hadn't used Apple Silicon until just a couple months ago when I got my M1 Max MacBook Pro, because that Core i9 one was just really not cutting it. This one always freaks me out too. There we go.
So, hey guys, my name is Cole. I am Austin's video guy. I'm also an assistant camera and a video producer. I work in television and film. Though I have never owned this machine, I do sort of have an experience with it that left a taste in my mouth. I used to do YouTube myself when I was in college, I had a 2017 MacBook Pro. It was like the dual core i5. I mean, just so slow. It was slow from the jump, and then they had the whole
meltdown
vulnerability come out, and it got even slower. So when the rumors of the new Mac Pro came around, and then the announcement right after, I was jazzed for this computer. I remember the reveal, I remember the whole keynote about it. Then they showed this MPX module and this covering. These things sound so exciting, but they're contingent on Apple and third-party support, which they just proved they could not do with the trash can Mac Pro. They made all these big promises with AMD. What were they called? Like Fart Fire or whatever, like those little...
Fire Pro.
Yeah, Fire Pro. That was basically vaporware. We never got any more of those. Afterburner, all that stuff could have just been cards that stuck into PCIe slots. It didn't need to be all this BS that makes it harder to make more. Because as soon as the Apple has to put a little bit of effort, they flake. I knew it on the day of the keynote, and I was proven right almost immediately.
When I was employed at a repair shop back in 2018, there was this older gentleman who came in with a Power Mac G4, the Tower, and he explained that he only wants to use this one application. It might have been Photoshop. And he wanted to fix the machine, and everyone was just dumbfounded about why he would want to spend money on that machine. And it's because the consumer base that will actually buy this expect to buy something that works like a tool that they can continue using forever. The Power Mac G4 did exactly what that guy wanted, and he's gonna use it in perpetuity. And it's the same customer base with this machine. It stings because people who spend an incredible amount of money on a desktop that they could have instead got better value from by building their own or going with some other OEM are getting burned.
And that's why I think there's probably not a lot of production professionals out there using this machine.
Because they value, the people using this machine who spent $50,000 on it, value their security. When the security updates go and you can't install the next Logic Pro or whatever update.
That's a good point.
They have
too.
to scrap everything and they lose days, possibly weeks of productivity having to buy and hundreds of thousands of dollars buying everyone a new computer. It's just stupid. So I think there should have been an exception made for this computer specifically to continue receiving software updates.
We waited 6 years from the inception of the 2013 trash can to the announcement of this, 2013 to 2019. And in 6 more years, this thing has gotten its death sentence. Then to add insult to injury, the Apple Silicon treatment. M2 Ultra, which is 2 M2 Maxes stuck together.
No video card support at all. No upgradable RAM at all.
You know, ostensibly the upgradable computer under Apple is dead.
I remember when it first came out, you remember texting me and I was like, we were watching the introduction and they showed a slide of like PCIe expansion, right? And they were selling it like it was the best thing ever. And they had all these PCIe cards. We'll have to put it on screen.
I remember
that
this,
we just had no idea what they could do.
Yeah, there it is. The Steely Dan card right there, the Aja Kona 5. That looked like a GPU. This is what got me excited.
It was
this
a capture card. It was an HDMI capture card.
Yeah.
And like that can run on a 2012 Westmeyer.
Sound inputs, video inputs, I don't know, more capture cards. Half of these are capture cards. VGA out. Yay! What is that? What is even that? What is this? This is a port that hasn't been invented yet. I just don't think they should have made that Pro. They should have just kept it with the Studio. It's obvious that that's always what they wanted to make, was a Pro desktop in the footprint of a Mac Mini. It's always about getting smaller and thinner with Apple, and that's what pisses me off.
Well, and of course, one of the things that people use PCIe for is FireWire. And that's
Yeah, oh yeah. FireWire's gone.
worked fine on Apple Silicon.
It did work totally fine. And gone, bye-bye.
is a precision stainless steel space frame that also
Space.
Space frame. Yeah, I don't want to turn this off. I don't want to watch. I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. Let's see if it posts. Oh no! You put the CPU upside down! Austin, no! I'm gonna hand this back over to Austin and we'll wrap up this rant that was Trojan horsed to you inside of a Mac Pro upgrade video.
Beat that thing up. Fuck it up, dude. Beat it up.
This thing?
Yeah. Fuck it up.
Whoa!
One of the main reasons why I still like this machine and why you might consider buying it is running Windows natively on Intel and not through Rosetta on Apple Silicon. Don't judge me, but I'm kind of a gamer and I do use this to game on Windows 10. Game time. And it's really quite proficient. It's sad to see Boot Camp die with the Intel Max, and it's sad to see that this machine is pretty much end of life. For example, Black Ops 7 launched today. Even though this machine is capable of running Black Ops 7, for example, more than proficiently, also Battlefield 6, any AAA game, I couldn't get Helldivers 2 to work. And of course, no Windows 11 support on this thing, just because it doesn't have the TPM 2.0 module. Just so many pain points with this thing. Let me know in the comments if any of you own and use a 2019 Mac Pro. Huge shout out to DMG Definitive Mac Upgrade Guide. Check out his channel if you're interested in more Intel Mac Pro content. While filming this video, we also made a short of the upgrade condensed. It's right here if you want to watch it. Highly recommend it. Little ASMR. Also, let me know in the comments, how long do you think I can continue using this machine for? All right, until next time, guys, peace out. See, what else could I say for that? Ouch. Did you hear that?
Yeah, what was that?
I think it's the ghost of Intel. Oh my God, we gotta get out of here.
Nope, I'm out. I'm going.
No, dude,
I don't do ghosts. I don't do ghosts. Bye. Bye.
All right, guys, we gotta go. Smash like. Hit subscribe. Subscribe to Cole. Okay, yeah, I'll go. Tim Cook, resign now or I'm dropping my diss track. Final warning.